The day before the college entrance exam, my boyfriend Qingyu insisted on attending his childhood sweetheart Xia Jiaojiao's birthday party. In my previous life, I stopped him by saying the college entrance exam was important, and he ultimately didn't go. As a result, Xia Jiaojiao was harassed by some thugs after drinking and jumped into the sea in shame and anger. Qingyu and I got into Peking University, started our own company, and achieved success in our careers on the cruise celebration banquet. The day the company successfully went public, he personally pushed me into the sea. If you hadn't stopped me from going to Jiao Jiao's birthday party, she wouldn't have encountered those thugs, and she wouldn't have died. It's all your fault. Opening my eyes again, it was once more the eve of the college entrance exam. In this life, I smiled brightly. Go ahead, have fun, and remember to wish her a happy birthday for me. The night before the college entrance exam should have been the final sprint of intense review, yet my phone rang at an inopportune moment. It was my boyfriend, Qingyu. Ruashi, Jiao Jiao's birthday is today, and there's a party tonight. I have to go. Xia Jiaojiao, Qingyu's childhood friend, a name that stirs up a storm of memories in my mind. In my previous life, it was this birthday party that became the beginning of all tragedies. Given a second chance, I spoke in a light-hearted tone. Sure, I said cheerfully, have fun, and remember to wish Jiao Jiao a happy birthday for me. There was a noticeable pause on the other end of the line, as if they hadn't expected me to agree so easily. You're so kind, Ruashi. Qingyu's voice carried a hint of relieved joy. I hung up the phone. Go ahead, go all out. In this lifetime, I won't stand in your way anymore. I just want to see what kind of earth-shattering legend your true love can write without my interference. Late at night, the phone screen lit up. A photo suddenly appeared before my eyes. In the dimly lit KTV private room, Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao were tightly embracing, kissing passionately as if no one else existed. In the background of the photo were the grinning faces of classmates cheering them on. The sender was one of my so-called concerned classmates. I silently forwarded the photo to Qingyu. Qingyu replied, Ruashi, don't be unreasonable. This is just a game of truth or dare. Don't overthink it. I didn't mind and quickly typed a WeChat message. Let's break up. This time, it took a while before Qingyu replied, there's a limit to fooling around. Don't bring up something like this. I remained expressionless. We're not compatible. Let's break up. Qingyu replied extremely quickly this time, as if furious and embarrassed. Fine, break up then. But don't you regret it? I calmly put down my phone. Don't worry. Whoever regrets it is a dog. In my previous life, I earnestly advised Qingyu not to attend Xia Jiaojiao's birthday party. Tomorrow is the college entrance exam. If you stay up late, it will affect your exam results. Qingyu reluctantly declined Xia Jiaojiao's birthday party invitation. That night, Xia Jiaojiao got completely drunk and was targeted by some gangsters on her way home, who dragged her into an alley. Although Qingyu later found her, it was already too late. After being humiliated, Xia Jiaojiao couldn't bear the burden and chose to jump into the sea. Qingyu blamed all the mistakes on me, believing that my jealousy indirectly caused her death. He hated me for many years and kept it hidden for many years. We both took the college entrance exam as usual and successfully got into Peking University. We got married after graduating from college, started a business together, and the company grew bigger and bigger, eventually going public smoothly. Amid the envious gazes of everyone, we rang the bell together and celebrated on a cruise ship at night. With my beloved by my side and a successful career, at the peak of everything, he pushed me into the sea. Before the fall, I saw the madness in his eyes, unable to believe it. If you hadn't stopped me from attending Xia Jiaojiao's birthday party, she wouldn't have been bullied and chosen to jump into the sea. You deserve to be buried with her. It turns out he had already changed his heart, given a second chance at life. I find it all absurd and laughable. What does it have to do with me that my childhood sweetheart got into trouble? In this life, I will make your dreams come true. On the day of the college entrance exam, I calmly entered the examination room, ready to welcome my brand new life. When the bells signaling the end of the exam rang, I put down my pen and let out a long sigh of relief. I felt I performed really well. Every key point was clearly imprinted in my mind. Walking out of the examination hall, the sunlight was a bit dazzling. My parents were already waiting at the school gate, their faces filled with hopeful smiles. How did it go, daughter? My mom asked cautiously. Don't worry, Mom, I should be able to get into Peking University. I laughed. When I got home, I calmly told my parents, Dad, Mom, there's one more thing. I broke up with Qingyu. My parents exchanged a glance, not showing much surprise. Dad patted my shoulder. Just break up then. I've long thought that guy wasn't good enough for my daughter. our Ruashi is so outstanding, there'll be plenty of good guys chasing after her in the future. Mom also said, yes, we don't care about him, daughter. Whatever decision you make, your parents will support and bless you. My heart warmed. Having such open-minded parents was truly wonderful. One day before the college entrance exam results came out, my best friend and deskmate Su Yen leaned close to my ear mysteriously. Ruashi, did you hear? Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao are in big trouble. I raised an eyebrow, signaling for her to continue. I heard that on the night of Xia Jiaojiao's birthday party, they both got drunk and went straight to a hotel to check in. Su Yan's tone carried a hint of excitement, and then, I feigned calmness, and then they overslept the next morning, got stuck in traffic on the way, and ended up missing both the Chinese and math exams. Both of them were absent. Now it's the biggest news in our school. I'm dying of laughter. Su Yan laughed so hard she nearly doubled over. I sneered inwardly. Just as I thought, without my interference, their love has indeed become even more passionate and intense, missing the exam. This is truly a stroke of luck for me, Ruashi. Why aren't you surprised at all? Su Yan knows about what happened between me and Qingyu before. Why should I be surprised? We've already broken up. Good riddance. I heard about what happened that day. No need for a scumbag like him. Su Yan always stands by my side. To think he'd risk his college entrance exams for a manipulative girl. He must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. I smiled without confirming or denying. In my previous life, I was the insignificant existence he abandoned. In this life, I'm perfectly content with the peace, watching how they ruin a promising situation. Soon, the class reunion before the college entrance exam results were announced took place as scheduled. Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao held hands, making a grand appearance in front of everyone. Everyone, I'm together with Jiaojiao now, Qingyu announced proudly. Xia Jiaojiao leaned against him like a little bird, her face adorned with a shy yet proud smile. We've decided to repeat our year and take the entrance exam for Peking University together next year, Qingyu added. We've even planned that we'll get married right after graduation and have 2 adorable babies. Xia Jiaojiao chimed in sweetly. A smattering of applause broke out around them, but more prevalent were the meaningful glances and hushed whispers. After all, the news that both of them had missed the exam had already spread throughout the entire grade. Qingyu seemed to sense the subtle shift in the atmosphere. He cleared his throat and declared loudly, I know what you all might be thinking, but to me, true love is more important than the college entrance exam, and with my abilities, even if I have to retake it next year, I can still get into Peking University, maybe even do better, he boasted confidently, as if Peking University were his family's business. Xia Jiaojiao looked at him admiringly. Beside me, brother, you is the best. I picked up the juice and took a sip, too lazy to watch their performance. Son Ruashi, what do you think? Someone suddenly called me out. All eyes turned to me in unison. My previous relationship with Qingyu was no secret in class, but some classmates only found out about our breakup today, and their eyes are now filled with the light of gossip. I put down my cup and smiled slightly. That's great. I wish you happiness, and I hope you stay together forever. I'll swallow the key. Everyone was stunned for a moment, then burst into uproarious laughter. Qingyu's face instantly darkened, and Xia Jiaojiao stomped her feet in anger. What do you mean, son Ruashi? Qingyu said angrily. Nothing much, just the literal meaning, wishing you a long and happy life together, a perfect match for 100 years. I shrugged, looking innocent. Some people are just sour grapes, Xia Jiaojiao said sharply. I couldn't be bothered to deal with them anymore and started chatting with Su Yan about other things. On the day the college entrance exam results were released, I couldn't find my score, but calls started coming in from the admissions teams of Tsinghua and Peking University. I realized that this time I was at least in the top 10 in the province. I was definitely going to get into Peking University's Guanghua School of Management. My parents were so moved that tears welled up in their eyes, and they immediately decided to host a grand banquet to celebrate. Meanwhile, Su Yan also sent her congratulations right away, along with a surprise. Ruashi, guess what? Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao's scores are out. Because they missed 2 major subjects, their total scores are less than 300. Ha ha ha, I can't stop laughing. I looked at my phone screen, and the smile on my face grew wider and wider. This is truly asking for trouble and getting it. During summer vacation, Su Yan and I made plans to go to the arcade to relax. Who would have thought? Enemies crossed paths. Just after exchanging for game tokens, we ran into Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao, who had also come to play. As soon as Xia Jiaojiao saw me, she immediately acted like a peacock spreading its tail, deliberately linking arms with Qingyu and affectionately resting her head on his shoulder. Brother Yu, look at that doll, it's so cute, could you grab one for me? Xia Jiaojiao said in a coquettish tone. Qingyu promptly and eagerly went to exchange for game tokens, putting on the act of the perfect, devoted boyfriend. Xia Jiaojiao then shot me a smug glance, her eyes filled with pride and provocation, as if saying, look, son Ruoshi, Qingyu is mine now, see how good he is to me. I just found it amusing, childish. Qingyu kept failing at the claw machine, and Xia Jiaojiao was growing impatient. He turned and saw me, probably wanting to save face, and spoke up first. Son Ruoshi, I heard you applied to Guanghua School of Management at Peking University, studying management. I responded indifferently. What's the point of a girl studying management? After graduation, she'll just end up working for men anyway, Qingyu said with a hint of disdain. If you ask me, the management program at Peking University's Guanghua School is less practical than my Jiaojiao studying hotel management at a third-tier college in the future. Xia Jiaojiao immediately chimed in. Exactly, my dad said he'll hand over our family hotel to me to manage, and I'll be the boss lady then. Some people work so hard to get into Peking University, but who knows if they'll even find a job after graduating. Their remarks made me laugh in disbelief. Oh, is that so? I raised an eyebrow. Qingyu, if you don't even know which direction Peking University's gate faces, what right do you have to comment on its majors? As for Xia Jiaojiao, someone who's too afraid to even face the college entrance exam, you'd better first figure out whether you can get into a third-tier university next year. As for how Peking University's Guanghua School of Management is, it's not up to people like you, who can't even get a ticket inside, to make remarks. My voice wasn't loud, yet every word was clear and carried weight. Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao's faces instantly turned purplish red. Qingyu was furious. Son Ruoshi, don't get too cocky. What's so great about Peking University? I'll definitely get in next year. No, I'm going to get into Tsinghua, better than you. Xia Jiaojiao also screamed along. Right, we'll both get into Tsinghua next year, just wait and see who the real top student is. Su Yan couldn't hold back any longer and burst out laughing. Fine, I'll wait, I shrugged. I hope next year around this time, your names will appear on Tsinghua's admission list, not on the school's list of absentees. After saying that, I took Su Yan's hand and walked away without looking back. Their furious curses echoed behind me, but I just treated them like barking mad dogs. A few days later, I received the admission notice from Peking University's Guanghua School of Management. The bright red envelope, heavy and substantial, carries years of my hard work and hopes for the future. The whole family was immersed in joy. My parents specially reserved a private room at the best local hotel and held a grand celebration banquet, inviting all our relatives and friends. During the feast, glasses clinked, and words of blessing filled the air. I looked at the proud smiles on my parents' faces and felt that all the hard work was worth it. The school also held a banquet to thank teachers for us students who got into prestigious universities. At the banquet, the head teacher specifically mentioned me by name, praising me as the pride of the school. The principal personally presented me with a banner that read, Future Pillar, National Talent. To my greater surprise, the principal also awarded me a 500,000 scholarship on behalf of the school. Student son Ruoshi, I hope that after entering university, you will continue to work hard, live up to your youth, bring honor to our alma mater, and contribute to our country, the principal earnestly said. I excitedly accepted the banner and the scholarship, bowing deeply. Thank you, principal, thank you, teachers, I definitely will. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. I caught a glimpse of Qingyu and Xia Jiaojiao in the corner, their faces turning extremely pale. The teacher appreciation banquet was halfway through when a sudden commotion erupted. Qingyu's grandmother and Xia Jiaojiao's parents were seen engaged in a heated argument. What kind of bewitching potion has your Xia Jiaojiao fed my grandson? He won't even take the college entrance exam properly, insisting on following her foolish antics. Qingyu's grandmother trembled with anger, pointing at Xia Jiaojiao's nose as she scolded. Xia Jiaojiao's mother was no pushover either, planting her hands on her hips and retorting, "In-laws, you can't say that, it's clearly your own son Qingyu who's useless, insisting on clinging to our Jiaojiao. Now that he's failed the exam, you're blaming our Jiaojiao." Xia Jiaojiao's father chimed in, "Exactly, it takes two to tango. If Qingyu wasn't willing himself, who could have dragged him away from the college entrance exam? My grandson used to be so obedient and well-behaved, his grades were so good, it's all because of your family's little vixen that he's been led astray." Qingyu's grandmother refused to back down. The two of them kept talking back and forth, arguing fiercely. And the scene became extremely chaotic for a moment. Just then, Xia Jiao suddenly clutched her chest, let out a weak ouch with a pale face, and slumped softly into Qingyu's arms. Jiao, what's wrong with you? Qingyu was shocked and quickly hugged her. Brother Yu, I feel dizzy and my chest hurts, Xia Jiao said weakly, with a few tears squeezed from the corner of her eyes. Grandma, you've gone too far. If anything happens to Jiao, I'll never forgive you. Qingyu glared at his grandmother and shouted loudly, for her, would you even abandon your own grandmother? Qingyu's grandmother trembled with anger, her lips quivering. She is my true love, the person I want to spend my life with. Anyone who dares to bully her is going against me. Qingyu, even you, no exception, Qingyu declared resolutely. I want to draw a clear line with you. After saying this, he picked Xia Jiao up in his arms and rushed out of the banquet hall without a glance behind him. I'm taking Jiao to the hospital. He didn't even glance at his grandmother, who was so enraged she clutched her chest, her face turning blue and staggering on her feet. Grandma, are you all right? It was a kind bystander nearby who managed to support Qingyu's grandmother. Someone quickly dialed ambulance. The ambulance arrived quickly and took Qingyu's grandmother to the hospital for emergency treatment. From beginning to end, Qingyu never looked back. Later, it was said that Qingyu's grandmother was so angry that her heart condition relapsed, and she almost didn't make it through the rescue. After the old lady woke up in the hospital bed, the first thing she did was have her lawyer revise the will, canceling all of Qingyu's inheritance rights and cutting off all his financial resources. I don't have such a grandson. The old lady cried her heart out in the hospital ward. Qingyu seemed completely indifferent to this, as he was wholly devoted to Xia Jiao. Seeing this, Xia Jiao's parents actually warmed up to Qingyu quite a bit. In the hospital, Xia Jiao's father patted Qingyu on the shoulder and announced publicly, good lad, from now on, you are the son-in-law of our Xia family. Jiao is in your hands. Xia Jiao's mother also took Qingyu's hand, asking after his well-being, clearly treating him as family. Qingyu was so moved that tears filled his eyes, repeatedly assuring her that he would treat Xia Jiao well. A farce ended in such a dramatic way. Ruashi, did you know, Xia Jiao's family is in real estate. They're really rich. Su Yan messaged me on WeChat. I've heard about it for a long time. Her parents own several companies, with assets worth billions. I looked at the message Su Yan sent and smiled knowingly. No wonder Qingyu is so devoted. He's latched onto a wealthy branch. For the sake of so-called 30 years less struggle, he can even neglect his own grandmother. It was truly a touching display of filial piety. A few days before Peking University started, Qingyu actually came to my house on his own. With a deeply emotional expression, he looked at me and said, Ruashi, I know you're still angry with me. Jiao is actually very kind, she's just a bit willful. Qingyu continued his performance. She loves me very much, and I love her too. We are truly in love. He paused, as if waiting for my reaction. I stared at him expressionlessly, like I was looking at a clown putting on a ridiculous show. Seeing that I didn't respond, Qingyu continued, Ruashi, I know you still have feelings for me. Even though we broke up, we can still be friends, right? Jiao is very understanding. She'll accept it. She said she doesn't mind if we stay friends. I'm really speechless. Are these two the perfect match of an average confident man and an average confident woman? Who gave them the courage? Was it Fish Liang? Actually, it's not much use for you to study at Peking University's Guanghua School of Management. Qingyu suddenly changed the subject. Even after graduation, you'll still be working for someone else. Look at me. I'm doing business with Jiao's family, and soon I'll be a big boss. I'll be doing much better than you. Education doesn't mean everything. Ability and connections are what truly matter. In that regard, you'll never be able to compare to me. I couldn't listen any longer. Qingyu, I said calmly, do you have some misunderstanding about yourself? I no longer have the slightest affection for you. Right now, in my eyes, you're no different from a stray cat or dog on the roadside. As for your future with Xia Jiao, I don't care at all. Whether you rise to great heights or sink into poverty has nothing to do with me. Now, please leave my house and don't bother me again. After saying that, I directly opened the door and made a please gesture. Qingyu's face turned pale and flushed alternately, probably not expecting me to be so disrespectful to him. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but eventually left in disappointment. I slammed the door shut, shutting him out of my world. After entering Peking University, I absorbed knowledge like a sponge. The courses at Guanghua School of Management are both enriching and challenging. I spent every day in the library, attended various academic seminars, and actively participated in group discussions. By the end of my freshman year, I ranked first in my major and received the national scholarship. My advisor spoke highly of me, and my classmates also liked me as a diligent and helpful top student. Campus life was busy and exciting, and I had long since forgotten about that odd couple, Qing Yu and Xia Jiaojiao. Su Yan was also admitted to a normal university in our city, so we often met up. During one gathering, Su Yan brought the latest news about Qing Yu and Xia Jiaojiao again. Ruoshi, guess what? Xia Jiaojiao is pregnant in her repeat year class. Su Yan's tone was filled with the excitement of someone who loves nothing more than a good drama. Pregnant? I was a bit surprised, but then it made sense. Yeah, I heard she's already over 3 months along. Now she's bossing everyone around in the cram school, treating Qingyu like a servant. What about Qingyu? How's his studying going? I asked casually. Him, with his on-again, off-again attitude. It's no wonder his grades are terrible. I heard he bombed several mock exams, and the teachers are almost ready to give up on him. Su Yan curled her lip. Sure enough, it wasn't long before Su Yan told me that Xia Jiaojiao had already taken a leave of absence due to severe morning sickness and had gone home to rest and take care of the pregnancy. Xia Jiaojiao's parents were quite enthusiastic about their future grandson, or granddaughter, and specially bought a large apartment in the city for the couple as their future wedding home. Qingyu thus completely gave up on repeating his year at school, and devoted himself entirely to accompanying Xia Jiaojiao during her pregnancy, becoming a soon-to-be father. One weekend, when I went shopping at the mall, I unexpectedly ran into Qingyu again. He was accompanying the heavily pregnant Xia Jiaojiao shopping at a maternity store. Upon seeing me, Qingyu immediately wore a smug smile on his face. Well, if it isn't Sun Ruoshi, even a top student from Peking University comes to shop at such a common mall, he said sarcastically. Xia Jiaojiao also puffed out her belly, looking at me with an arrogant expression. I now have a car and a house, and Jiao Jiao is pregnant with my child. I'm about to become a father. Qingyu patted the handle of the stroller beside him. What do you call this? This is what you call a winner in life. You've saved 30 years of hard work, unlike some people who work so hard to get into college, only to graduate not knowing if they can even find a good job, or how much money they can earn in a month. I didn't bother arguing with him, just walked past them and entered another store. How ridiculous. Do you think you're superior just because you're sitting on a gold mine? How can a sparrow understand the ambition of a swan? In my senior year, I won the gold medal in the International University Business Challenge with an innovative business proposal. This award earned me widespread attention in the industry and caught the eye of many investors. After graduation, instead of joining a big company, I decided to start a business with several like-minded seniors. We registered a technology company focusing on research and application in the field of artificial intelligence. Although the early days of entrepreneurship were tough, we were all full of passion and drive. Once, when I went to attend an industry summit, I unexpectedly ran into Qingyu again. It had been years since we last met, and he had gained quite a bit of weight. He was wearing an ill-fitting suit, his hair looked greasy, and he gave off the vibe of a local business tycoon. He clearly recognized me too. Sun Ruoshi, you're here for this kind of summit too? He looked me up and down, a hint of surprise in his eyes. When he learned that I had won an international award and was starting my own business, his expression turned somewhat complicated, but he quickly resumed his lofty demeanor. Starting a business, just a small-time hustle. What's a girl doing messing around with a career? I'm a contractor now, managing several construction sites, all thanks to Jiao Jiao's family connections, he boasted proudly. What's the use of reading so many books or winning so many awards? In the end, it all comes down to connections and resources. In that regard, you'll never compare to me. I simply smiled faintly, not wanting to argue with him. We walk different paths and cannot work toward the same goal. Later, Su Yan told me that after Xia Jiaojiao gave birth to a daughter, her figure was severely ruined, and she no longer felt like studying, so she dropped out of school and became a full-time mother at home. As for Qingyu, after Xia Jiaojiao became pregnant, he took the college entrance exam for the second time, and naturally failed to get in, eventually only getting into a local third-tier college. Qingyu completely let himself go, relying on his somewhat handsome looks and the reputation of being Xia family's prospective son-in-law. He frequently flirted with women outside. Once, he was caught in the act by Xia Jiaojiao with 2 women at the same time. Xia Jiaojiao was so furious that she caused a scene at school, spreading Qingyu's scandal until Everyone knew about it. In order to quell the incident, the school directly punished Cheng Yu and revoked his eligibility for degree conferral. In other words, he had studied for nothing and couldn't even get his diploma. When it rains, it pours. Not long after, Xia Jiaojiao's real estate business ran into serious problems. In their pursuit of profit, they cut corners, leading to a severe collapse at an under-construction building site, which killed several workers on the spot. The incident caused a huge uproar, with media outlets rushing to report on it, and the Xia family's reputation plummeted. Xia Jiaojiao's parents were arrested by the police on charges related to major safety responsibility accidents, tax evasion, and a series of other issues, and the company declared bankruptcy. Cheng Yu, as the nominal project manager of the Xia family's company, was also sentenced to 3 years in prison due to joint liability. Meanwhile, my startup was thriving. The AI products we developed gained widespread market recognition, with orders pouring in continuously. In the 3rd year of the company's establishment, our annual revenue successfully surpassed the million mark. It was another year for the class reunion. This time, I met Cheng Yu, who had just been released from prison. He looked even more haggard than a few years ago, with sunken eyes and noticeably more white hair. Most shocking was the long scar on his face, stretching from his forehead all the way down to his chin, said to have been left from a fight in prison. The once spirited young man had now become gaunt and worn, resembling a down-and-out homeless person. At the dinner table, many classmates pointed at him and whispered among themselves, their eyes filled with disdain and mockery, "Isn't this the same Cheng, the genius who once claimed that true love mattered more than the college entrance exam? How did he end up like this? Heard he was in jail, apparently because of some trouble at his father-in-law's company. Deserved it, he was so arrogant back then, and now he's just a rat running through the streets." Cheng Yu lowered his head, saying nothing, silently drinking his sorrows. Su Yan whispered to me, "Ruashi, do you know, when Cheng Yu was working as that so-called foreman at the construction site, he cut corners on workers' safety equipment to make more profit, which led to that serious fatal accident. His father-in-law was the main culprit, and he was just an accomplice. And before his accident, he once got drunk and hit someone while driving, then fled the scene. Later, the Xia family paid money to settle it quietly. A person like him is simply scum." Listening to this, I felt not the slightest sympathy in my heart. Heaven's calamity may still be forgiven, self-inflicted calamity is unforgivable. After the gathering, Cheng Yu actually stopped me in the parking lot. He wore a flattering smile on his face, the scar on his cheek appearing especially hideous under the streetlight. "Ruashi, long time no see, you've become more and more beautiful and successful." He rubbed his hands together, appearing somewhat nervous and uneasy. "Xia Jiaojiao, that spendthrift bitch, has ruined me. I have nothing now, and it's all her fault." He started belittling Xia Jiaojiao. "Ruashi, I regret it, I really regret it. If only I hadn't gone to her birthday party back then, if I had stayed with you all along, things wouldn't be like this now. Can you give me another chance? Let's start over, okay?" His eyes were filled with pleading. Looking at his pitiful appearance, I only found it utterly ironic. "Cheng Yu, have you forgotten? It was you who chose Xia Jiaojiao, you who gave up on the college entrance exam, you who abandoned the grandmother who raised you, and you who walked step by step to where you are today. Now you tell me you regret it. Don't you think it's too late? All of this is the result of your own actions. You have no one else to blame. As for a second chance, sorry, but son, Ruashi never recycles the trash. She's already used." I coldly dropped these words and turned to get into my car, driving away with a flourish. My company continued to grow and eventually attracted investment from a major figure in the industry. 2 years later, the company was successfully listed on Nasdaq, and at the moment the bell rang, I was overwhelmed with emotion. I had finally achieved financial freedom and proven my own worth. Su Yan brought the latest news about Cheng Yu and Xia Jiaojiao. After the Xia family went completely bankrupt, Xia Jiaojiao's parents were both sentenced to heavy prison terms. With a child to care for, Xia Jiaojiao struggled to make ends meet, resorting to odd jobs and even scavenging for scraps. After his release from prison, Cheng Yu, burdened by a criminal record and disfigured appearance, couldn't find any decent work. The two of them are now crammed into a shabby rented apartment, living a rootless life, frequently arguing and even fighting over trivial matters, each blaming the other for ruining their lives. Their daughter, growing up in such a family environment, has become withdrawn and malnourished. Throughout my entrepreneurial journey, there has always been one person silently supporting and accompanying me. He is my senior fellow apprentice, Chen Sheng, who started this venture with me. He is mature, steady, wise, and humorous. sharing the same ideals and pursuits as me. We gradually evolved from business partners into lovers. After the successful IPO, I took him home to meet my parents. My parents were very satisfied with him and urged us to settle the marriage as soon as possible. One weekend evening, Su Yan and Chen Sheng and I were taking a walk near our neighborhood. Suddenly, we heard a loud argument. Following the sound, we saw a man and a woman fighting near a trash can not far away. It was Cheng Yu and Xia Jiaojiao. They were dressed in rags, looking disheveled, and fought until their heads were bloodied over missing out on a single plastic bottle. It's all your fault, you jinx. If it weren't for you, how could I have ended up like this? Cheng Yu cursed as he threw punches. Cheng Yu, you useless coward. If it weren't for your relentless pestering back then, would I have ever been with you? You ruined my entire life. Xia Jiaojiao retorted without backing down. Chen Sheng couldn't stand watching any longer and stepped forward to try and break up the fight. Xia Jiaojiao looked up and saw me. Her eyes instantly turning venomous, she pointed at me and screamed at Cheng Yu, it's all your fault. If you hadn't broken up with Sun Ruoshi back then, if you hadn't come to mess with me, our family wouldn't have gone bankrupt. I wouldn't have ended up like this. It's all because of you. Cheng Yu also saw me, his face flashing with embarrassment and shame before being replaced by anger. He glared at me fiercely, as if I were the root of all his misfortune. I grabbed Chen Sheng and shook my head. For someone who had already lost their reason, any persuasion was futile. Let's go, I said to Chen Sheng and Su Yan. We turned away, and behind us still came their unbearable curses and sounds of fighting. The sunlight stretched our shadows long, while they remained forever in that filthy darkness. A few days later, on a warm and romantic evening, Chen Sheng proposed to me. He knelt on one knee, holding a diamond ring, his gaze deep and sincere. Ruoshi, will you marry me? I will love you, cherish you, and support all your dreams for the rest of my life. Tears welled up in my eyes and I nodded, saying, I do. We hugged each other tightly, and the taste of happiness spread through our hearts. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see Mom and the family nanny, Auntie Wang, were giving birth together, and bullet comments floated before my eyes. Here it comes. The nanny is about to swap the two babies. Although the daughter is the nanny's child, she is beautiful and kind-hearted, deserving of the best. The supporting female character is inherently evil, skipping school and middle school to hang out with delinquents, failing to even get into a vocational high school. Not only did she cause the death of her own biological sister, but she also set a fire that killed the daughter's adoptive parents. I really wish I could reach in and strangle her right now. Watching the barrage of comments floating by, I calmly swapped the two children back. Because I was reborn. It's a girl, congratulations. A voice reached my ears, and I jolted awake. Seeing the white that filled my vision, I shivered. Anan, come quickly and see, this is your little sister. Dad brought a small baby to me. I feel a bit dazed. Didn't I just die, suffering from illness? She died alone in the hospital. Patient in bed 9 is in critical condition. Where are the family members? A nurse came out and said loudly. Dad handed the baby to the nurse and hurried over. At this moment, I completely snapped back to reality. I have been reborn. In my previous life, the nanny's daughter appeared gentle and kind, but in reality, she was sinister and ruthless. She hid my early-stage stomach cancer report, causing me to delay until it progressed to an advanced stage. After my death, it was my own sister who avenged me. Since I've been reborn, it's my turn to protect my sister. Dad went to see Mom, and the nurse, bribed by the nanny, switched the positions of the two babies. While no one was paying attention, I switched the two babies back. Oh no, the supporting female character has found out. Alas, the female supporting character is about to lose a sweet and gentle sister and gain a natural-born troublemaker instead. My daughter is also going to lose her status as a wealthy heiress. The barrage of comments before my eyes was filled with lamentations, but I wasn't angry. Perhaps these comments would provide me with crucial information. After the massive hemorrhage, my mother could no longer have children after being rescued. When my father named my younger sister Shernua, it was originally a name that should have belonged to her. In the following days, I was afraid that the nanny would notice the difference in the child and resort to underhanded tactics again, so I almost never left my sister's side. Regarding this, my mother even said with relief that I had grown more sensible. I didn't say yes or no. Fortunately, the nanny, Aunt Chen, didn't notice anything amiss. Seeing how well I treated my sister, she smiled and said to my mother, the eldest and second young ladies are truly biological sisters. Their bond is so strong. She emphasized the words, biological sisters, with a hint of pride in her eyes. The nanny still thinks the child swap was successful. Could it be that the abuse will now be directed at my daughter? Damn, I completely forgot about that until you mentioned it. Oh no, my poor daughter is going to suffer, someone needs to remind the nanny. Amid the wails and the bullet comments, I curved the corners of my lips and agreed with Aunt Chen's words. That's right, we are biological sisters. The bullet comments were right. Aunt Chen had treated Shernua poorly in the previous life, to the point of abuse. Aunt Chen, afraid that we would discover she had switched the babies, resigned and took my sister back to the countryside as soon as her maternity leave ended. She didn't breastfeed her younger sister, just fed her some rice paste to raise her, and by the time her sister was 4 or 5 years old, she had to wash dishes, and a little older, she had to wash the whole family's clothes. She also had to endure Aunt Chen's constant beatings and humiliation. After her sister finished 9 years of compulsory education, Aunt Chen wouldn't let her continue studying and planned to sell her to an old bachelor for 100,000 yuan in bride price. These are the things I found out after I reunited with my sister in my previous life. No need to investigate much. When people from Aunt Chen's hometown talk about these things, they all shake their heads repeatedly, cursing her for being unworthy of being called a human. Thinking of this, I grit my teeth in anger, yet the hand stroking my sister's face grows even gentler. My sister notices my movement, reaches out to grab my finger, and babbles happily at me. At that moment, I felt my heart soften into a muddy puddle, just like in the previous life. After finishing her postpartum confinement, Aunt Chen came to resign, saying she didn't want her child to lose a father's love and wanted to return to the countryside so the child could experience a complete family from a young age. Just as my mother was about to agree, I said, "Mom, you can help Aunt Chen bring her husband here. That way, Aunt Chen's child can grow up here too, and my little sister will have a playmate." My mother's eyes lit up, and she agreed, not allowing Aunt Chen to refuse. I smiled. It would be fine to let son Ernia go back home and suffer under Aunt Chen's torment, but I don't want to miss any chance to see her in pain. By the way, the fake daughter is named Sun Erniu in this life. Moreover, in the previous life, my mother didn't pay much attention to the fake daughter either. After the postpartum confinement, she handed the fake daughter over to the maternity nurse and stopped caring. My father used work as an excuse and only glanced at the fake daughter when he came home at night. I was the one taking care of her all along. Once, when the fake daughter had a fever, Mom was getting a beauty treatment, Dad was at the company, and it was me, a 10-year-old child, along with the nanny, who took the fake daughter to the hospital. I never expected that in the end, I would end up taking care of an ungrateful person, this time, with the biological daughter, right in front of her. Aunt Chen will definitely take good care of her. As I expected, Aunt Chen watched over my sister as if she were the apple of her eye, and there was no need for a maternity nurse at all. The younger sister cried, and Aunt Chen was the first to go check on her. The younger sister developed a small rash, and Aunt Chen rushed her to the hospital in a panic, not even asking Mom for the consultation fee when they returned. Meanwhile, son Ernia cried her heart out in the room, with no one paying any attention. Strangely, I never heard son Ernia cry at night, and sometimes she rarely cried during the day when Mom and Dad were home, until one day, I saw Aunt Chen adding powder to son Ernia's milk formula. Aunt Chen noticed me behind her and hurriedly explained, "Miss, this is Ernia's milk formula. She's had a bit of a cold lately, so I'm just giving her some cold medicine." What cold medicine? This is clearly sleeping pills. Oh my goodness, could there be any issues with such a young child taking sleeping pills? Of course it will. It affects development and causes organ damage. My poor heroine. I slowly raised the corner of my lips. I was quite satisfied with this outcome. Be careful not to pass it on to Xiao Nua, I reminded, then went back to the room to play with my sister. Perhaps it was really the effect of taking too many sleeping pills on the body. When my younger sister could speak, son Ernia could only babble. The first word my younger sister spoke was, "Sister." I was so happy I almost cried. My mother, standing nearby, seemed a bit unhappy. Other people's children first call out, "Mommy," and "Daddy," so why did Xiao Nua first call out, "Sister"? Dad didn't take it to heart, and then spends more time taking care of her than you do every day, so it's normal for Xiao Nua to call "Sister" first. If you spend more time with Xiao Nua, she'll grow closer to you. It's not surprising that Dad would stand up for me. This year, thanks to my reminder, Dad secured a major project. He is somewhat superstitious, seeing me as the lucky star of the family. I am quite satisfied with this as well, whether it was due to taking too many sleeping pills. affecting her development or other reasons. Son Ernie didn't start speaking until she was almost 2 years old. However, aside from the barrage, no one paid any attention. 7 or 8 years passed in the blink of an eye. Thanks to my deliberate efforts to build a bond, Xiao Nua grew very close to me, almost becoming my little shadow. Under the same roof, Xiao Nua was practically pampered like a little princess, while Son Ernie had to follow Aunt Chen and do endless chores. To my surprise, in such an environment, Son Ernie also managed to act very obediently. Compared to Son Ernie's obedience, Xiao Nua has never been a delicate, soft little girl since she was young. She doesn't like princess dresses, nor does she enjoy playing with Barbie dolls. She prefers all kinds of toy cars and likes neat, tidy outfits. One day, when I came home from school, I heard my mother's angry voice coming from Xiao Nua's room. "If you don't want it, there are plenty of others who do. I won't buy you anything ever again, Mom. It's not that I don't want the things you bought, it's just that I don't like these things." Xiao Nua's voice was choked with sobs. Immediately, I dropped my backpack and rushed into the room, shielding Xiao Nua in my arms. Xiao Nua's eyes were filled with tears, yet she stubbornly refused to let them fall. Son Ernie stood right beside her mother, already knowing how to stir up trouble at such a young age. "Auntie, don't be angry with Xiao Nua either. Xiao Nua isn't like me. If I had a mom like you, I would definitely cherish it." Woo-woo, I'm about to cry. The female lead is so pitiful. All of this should have been hers. It's really rare for the female lead to grow up so kind despite being abused by her beastly mother. Hey, I feel like the female lead is a bit of a green TB*TCH. Where is she a green TB*TCH? The supporting female character wouldn't cherish it even if she got it. She doesn't deserve it. Bullet comments flashed before my eyes again. "You're the good one, Nyo. I'll give all these things to you," Mom said, then looked coldly at Xiao Nua, speaking condescendingly. "I won't buy you anything anymore. You don't appreciate kindness." Xiao Nua tightly hugged my leg, her small body trembling. I held Xiao Nua tightly and said coldly, "Whether you have good intentions or just want to control Xiao Nua according to your own wishes, you know it yourself. Shuren, what kind of attitude is this? I am your mother." Mom was furious and embarrassed. Her face, still swollen from the injection, looked like a steamed bun, and even when angry, she couldn't show much expression. In my previous life, it was because I refused to do things her way, while Son Ernie knew how to flatter her, that she preferred Son Ernie. This is all human nature, and I can accept it, but she couldn't follow Son Ernie in hiding my stomach cancer from me. She says she's my mother, but do the things she's done resemble what a mother would do? I didn't want to argue with her, so I picked up Xiao Nua and left, returning to my room. As soon as we entered the room, Xiao Nua wrapped her arms around my neck and said in a tearful, childish voice, "Sister, Mom says all girls like Barbie dolls, and if you don't like Barbie dolls, you're not a good child." Xiao Nua doesn't want to be a bad child, but she doesn't like Barbie dolls either. I gently wiped the tears from her face and asked, "Xiao Nua, do you believe what I'm saying?" Xiao Nua used her sleeve to wipe away her tears and nodded firmly at me. Looking into her eyes, I said seriously, "Girls can like model cars, and boys can like Barbie dolls. Whether a child is good or bad isn't determined by model cars or Barbie dolls. As long as you don't steal or rob, you can like anything." Xiao Nua's eyes lit up as she hugged my neck. "Sister is the best. I like you the most. After all, she's just a child. Her emotions come and go quickly." I gently patted her back, but in a place she couldn't see. My expression darkened. Whether in my previous life or this one, before Xiao Nua was born, my mother treated me this way. She wasn't attentive in taking care of me, but in small matters, I had to listen to her. I had to wear the clothes she bought, and she would buy me toys, but they were the ones she liked. I couldn't have any say in it. If my grades dropped even slightly, her only response to me was harsh scolding and hitting. Whenever I have a conflict with someone, she doesn't care about the truth, only that I've caused trouble for her. But in this life, Dad sees me as a lucky star and won't let her act recklessly. Since she can't control me, she takes her temper out on Xiao Nua, but I won't let her succeed. After comforting Xiao Nua, I walked out of the room and saw Son Ernie moving the princess dress and Barbie doll Mom bought out of my sister's room. She saw me too. She's only 5 years old now and hasn't yet learned to hide her emotions. Her eyes are brimming with pride. I glance at her, not intending to pay her any attention, but she seems to want to provoke me on purpose. While reaching for the Barbie doll, she pretends to accidentally knock the car model on the table onto the floor. There's a carpet on the floor, so the model isn't broken, but son Ernia steps on it with her foot, the model shattered with a sound. Sister, it was all an accident, I can pay for it. She looked at me pitifully, but the corners of her lips curled up slightly, the barrage flashed before my eyes. Again, no way, how can the female lead be like this? What happened to the pure and delicate little white flower we were promised? It's only natural for there to be some changes when the environment for growth is different. Besides, she's just a child. Exactly, it's just a model. She already said she'd compensate for it. What more do you expect from a child? I walked over, picked up the model from the floor, and a malicious smile spread across my lips as I said, of course, you should compensate for damaging someone else's belongings. I'll deduct it from your mother's salary, and if I hear you call me sister one more time, I'll deduct from your mother's salary again. Hearing this, the smugness on son Ernia's face vanished completely. I chuckled in satisfaction and turned to leave. Son Ernia was afraid of Aunt Chen, and she had every reason to be. That night, muffled thuds and suppressed sobs could be heard from Aunt Chen's room. In the morning, while having breakfast, son Ernia ran out and knelt before her mother, revealing the bruises on her body, and cried, "Madam, please save me. Those princess dresses and dolls were given to me by you yesterday, but after the eldest young lady found out, she said she would deduct my mother's wages. Madam, I don't want any of those things anymore. Please don't deduct my mother's wages, or she will beat me to death." Slap! My mother threw down her chopsticks and glared at me coldly. "Sharon, you think you're all grown up now? Do you still see me as your mother?" I put down my chopsticks, slowly picked up a napkin to wipe my mouth, and said calmly, "I'm full, Mom, take your time." Behind me, my mother smashed another bowl. It seems I was still too kind. In the evening, I entered my father's study. "Anan is here. Is there something you need?" Dad looked up and smiled at me. I smiled back. This is my dad. In the past, he needed my grandfather's help, so he was always compliant with my mother, even to the point of sacrificing his own child. 3 years ago, my grandfather passed away, and with my guidance, the Sher family's strength far surpassed that of the Gu family. My father then began to treat me with kindness and respect. I found out from Qin Mu the bottom price of the Qin group for the land in the northern part of the city. I said, in my previous life, it was because the Qin family secured the development rights for the land in the northern part of the city that they left the Sher family far behind. With Qin Mu's support for son Ernia, my parents didn't hesitate to abandon me. This time, it won't happen again. Dad was stunned for a moment, then immediately overjoyed, standing up and walking toward me. "Anan, you truly live up to being my daughter." I curved the corners of my lips. He didn't even doubt whether the Qin family would let the 18-year-old Qin Mu know such an important matter. Naturally, I wouldn't remind him. I said, "I'm about to take the college entrance exam, and Aunt Chen and son Erniu are making a lot of noise at home, which will affect me." Dad understood what I meant. "I'll have them leave tomorrow." And Mom, while Dad works hard to earn money outside, she spends extravagantly, even willing to buy a 30,000 yuan doll for Aunt Chen's daughter. I said, in fact, for Dad, who can open bottles of wine worth hundreds of thousands in a single night of socializing, a 30,000 yuan doll is like a single hair falling off a cat. He wouldn't even notice that 30,000 yuan was missing from his account, but he still went along with my suggestion and said, "I'll freeze her supplementary card. You're about to take the college entrance exam, and she should take good care of you." With my goal achieved, I gave my father the reserve price for the land in the northern part of the city. I don't know how my father explained it to my mother, but the next day, my mother looked at me with a gaze that could kill, yet she didn't dare to scold me again. I just wanted peace and quiet. I didn't care about her attitude. I thought it would be a long time before I saw son Erniu again, but after the college entrance exam, I was invited by Qin Mu to the Qin family. In order to get more from my father, I didn't reject contact with Qin Mu. I knew my father still held the same old-fashioned ideas, thinking that daughters were unreliable, and that even a son-in-law was more dependable than a daughter. He never considered how this son-in-law of his treated his father-in-law when the Gu family was in a weak position. Ultimately, I didn't want to be alone with Qin Mu, so I brought Xiao Nua along to the Qin family. Regarding my father securing the land in the northern part of the city, the Qin family was originally displeased. However, given that the Sher family and the Qin family are now on equal footing, if they were to clash, it would only result in mutual harm, ultimately benefiting others. The Qin family had no choice but to grit their teeth and continue maintaining their relationship with my family. I never expected to see son Erniu at the Qin family's place. "Sister Sharon," son Erniu called out to me timidly. "How could she be here?" I asked. Earlier outside, my mother had an asthma attack. Luckily, she had asthma medicine with her and saved my mom. I heard that Aunt Chin used to work at your house, so my mother brought her and her daughter back with us. Chin Mu explained. Aunt Chin actually wasn't in a hurry to return to the countryside. I narrowed my eyes and suddenly understood. It seems Aunt Chin couldn't bear to part with Xiao Nua, so she naturally stayed with the Chin family. Sister Shirin, it was all my fault before. You can hit me or scold me, but it has nothing to do with my mother. If you don't want to see me, I can leave, but please, let my mother go. Sun Ernie looked at me with teary eyes. Immediately, Mother Chin's gaze turned toward me. What's going on? I'm starting to feel more and more that something's off about the female lead. She just wants to live a better life. What's wrong with that? Besides, it was the supporting female character who went to their father and talked nonsense in the first place. The female lead didn't falsely accuse her, but that day at the mall, it was indeed the female lead who stole the asthma medicine from Mrs. Chin's bag. That's not right, is it? So that's how it is. I was just wondering how such a coincidence could happen. I didn't want to explain anything to Aunt Chin either, so I just smiled and said to her, this is all a matter for the Chin family, as long as Aunt Chin is willing to keep you. It has nothing to do with me. Aunt Chen and Sun Ernie stayed at the Chin family. I often saw Aunt Chen peeking at Xiao Nua outside my villa. Knowing she wouldn't harm Xiao Nua, I simply pretended not to notice. Sun Ernie always wanted to attend the same school as Xiao Nua, but after all, she had only saved Mrs. Chin and was not Mrs. Chin's daughter. Aunt Chen wouldn't fight for her either, but compared to her sister in her previous life, she was already very fortunate. At least she had made it to high school. Her sister, with her outstanding grades, was admitted to a top university in the country and chose to major in physics. Their father was overjoyed, and as soon as the admission letter arrived, he threw a grand banquet to thank her teachers. On the day of the banquet, Sun Ernie came with Chin Mu. Aunt Gu, Sun Ernie called out in a sticky, affectionate tone, hugging her mother and shooting me a triumphant, challenging look. It's been a few days, and Nyonyo has grown even more beautiful. My mother smiled gently, handing a gift box to Sun Ernie. Sun Ernie opened it to find a ruby necklace inside. Her eyes lit up instantly, and she exclaimed with delight, "Thank you, Aunt Gu. Aunt Gu is the best to me. Could you help me put it on?" Mom glanced at me and my sister, and as if on purpose, she put it on Sun Ernie, my sister, and I couldn't help but roll our eyes. Over the years, my position in my father's heart has been crucial, and I have had the final say in all family matters. I didn't allow Sun Ernie to come in, but my mother often visited the Chin family. Perhaps it was a karmic connection from a past life, but my mother still liked Sun Ernie very much. The difference is that in this life, her favoritism can no longer hurt me or my sister. Little Noah, Aunt Gu's gift to you must be even better than this necklace. You won't be upset, will you? Sun Ernie deliberately stroked the necklace around her neck as she spoke. Noah kept a neat short haircut, which she dyed pink. After the college entrance exams, even on such an occasion, she didn't wear a dress but instead donned a white suit. Looking both cool and bold, she leaned her head on my shoulder and pulled a car key from her suit pocket. "This is the Maserati my sister gave me. Who cares about your measly little trinkets?" Sun Ernie's smile was barely holding up, but for some reason, she looked at Xiao Nua with a malicious glint in her eyes. Sister Xiao Nua is, after all, a daughter of the Shi family, so why is she dressed like this? If I didn't know better, I'd think Sister Xiao Nua was some street thug. Did I miss some plot? Why is the female lead so condescending? Exactly, the real heiress is so cool, and she even got into the top university's physics department. Is there really such a delinquent? This plot seems different from the beginning. The real heiress wasn't swapped. So why does the female lead sound like she's talking about the original storyline? I furrowed my brows. This comment reminded me, I've already changed the plot. So why is Sun Ernie still saying my sister looks like a little hooligan? Slap! I slapped him across the face. "How dare you hit me?" she exclaimed in disbelief. Covering her face, I took the handkerchief my sister handed me, wiped my hands, and sneered, daring to call my sister a hooligan. "Hitting you is the least of it." All the guests turned to look, and Sun Ernie seethed with anger but didn't dare say a word, her chest heaving with rage. Chin Mu walked over, shielding her behind him, and said to me, "Anan, Nyo is still young, can't you talk things out properly?" I raised an eyebrow. It seems these two have gotten involved again in this lifetime. "Brother Chin Mu, it's all my fault. I said the wrong thing. Please don't blame Sister Anan. I can apologize to her." Sun Ernyo once again put on a fragile demeanor in front of Chinmu. My mother also glared at me angrily. Shuren, you're becoming more and more domineering. A guest is a guest. How could you hit them? Hurry up and apologize to Nyo Nyo. Everyone was looking at me, and Sun Ernyo was especially waiting for my apology. I sneered, my tone full of disdain. She's not worthy. After saying that, I left the place with Xiao Nua. Now, the Shi family is thriving, leaving the Qin family far behind. As the leading business force in Haishu, my father relies on me, and no one dares to offend me by speaking up for Sun Ernyo at this time. Sister, are you going to marry Qin Mu? Walking into the garden, Xiao Nua frowned and asked me. I didn't hide it, shaking my head with a smile. No. Xiao Nua visibly breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. I have a classmate whose friend goes to the same school as Sun Ernyo, and they say Qin Mu often picks up Sun Ernyo. Some people have even seen them kissing in the car. In this life, Xiao Nua has a carefree personality, but when it comes to the actions of Sun Ernyo and Qin Mu, she can't help but blush. Seeing her like this, I couldn't help but chuckle, gently pinched her cheek, and said with a smile, don't worry, I know all about it. I've already stumbled once because of these two people, and I won't let my guard down. After the banquet ended, Dad said that if I didn't want to see Sun Ernyo, he could put pressure on the Qin family to make her leave Haishu. He spoke to me with high spirits and full of confidence. I knew he wasn't helping me and Xiao Nua vent our anger, but rather showcasing his own abilities. However, what I didn't expect was that the next day, Dad brought Sun Ernyo home, saying he wanted to adopt her as his goddaughter, and then, from now on, Nyo Nyo is a member of our family. You two should get along well. Let bygones be bygones. You've always been a generous child, Dad said. My heart couldn't help but tighten from the tone of Dad's words. It seemed there was no room for further discussion on this matter. The female lead truly lives up to her role. Even with a disastrous start, she can turn the tables. That's called selling trade secrets, not some last-ditch counterattack. You're legally illiterate. Funny, talking about the law in a novel. Winning is all that matters. Who cares about the law? Selling trade secrets. I felt slightly relieved and calmly replied, yes, Dad. Sister, you didn't expect me to be able to come back here, did you? As soon as Dad left, Sun Ernyo revealed her true colors to me. I smiled faintly. Indeed, I didn't expect it, but I can drive you away once, and I can do it a second time. Sun Ernyo also smiled. Then we'll see. I just wonder if you have enough time left. Sister, I originally wanted Xiao Nua to leave home temporarily, but she patted her chest and said, how could I possibly leave at a time like this? I want to protect you, sister. I smiled and didn't insist. I asked my father's secretary and driver. From the driver, I learned that Sun Ernyo had stopped my father's car and had a long conversation with him alone inside. The driver gave me the recording from the car. Over the years, I've managed to influence about 80% of the people around Dad, so it's not hard for me to know his words and actions. My sister and I listened to the recording together. Sun Ernyo, the Qin group is developing autonomous driving technology for cars and has achieved some results. As long as Uncle Shi lets me be your daughter, I can find a way to give the core data to Uncle Shi. Dad, it's a deal. Someone go tell the female lead that the supporting female character already knows all this. I think the supporting female character and the younger sister are kind of cute together. Shipping everything will only get you in trouble. My younger sister and I exchanged a glance, already having a plan in mind. The moment arrived when I went to pick up my medical report. Someone from the hospital proactively called me, saying that all my test results were fine and that the report had already been mailed to me. I raised the corner of my mouth. The fish had indeed taken the bait. The barrage of comments popped up again. I feel like the female lead deliberately hid it from the supporting female character because she wanted her to die. There's still hope for a cure in the early stages of cancer. Yeah, I also think the female lead maliciously concealed it from the supporting female character. She must have hated her. So what? The supporting female character was never good to the female lead anyway. A chill settled in my heart. In this life, I have indeed treated Sun Ernyo poorly. But what about the previous life? I treated her like my own sister, yet she still wanted me dead. Half a month later, the technology company I founded made a breakthrough in the research of new energy vehicles and received strong support from the government. My father proposed a plan for the group to acquire the technology company. I did not object, but I had conditions. I wanted 10% of the group's shares and to join the group as the CFO. Dad looked at me with a meaningful gaze and finally agreed. Upon learning that I had joined the group and held an important position, Chin's parents began urging me to marry Chin-moo both openly and discreetly, but Chin-moo refused. He said to me with a gentle expression, "Anan, I've been busy with work lately and really don't have time to get married. I want to personally arrange our wedding venue and give you a one-of-a-kind wedding, Anan. Can you wait a little longer for me?" I smiled faintly. Neither confirming nor denying it, he took it as my agreement. A year later, I fainted in the office and was taken to the hospital. After that, I was hospitalized as expected. After the news of my hospitalization spread, the first person to visit me was Sun Earnyu. She made no attempt to hide her malice toward me, saying, "Shuren, you've finally gotten what you deserve." Lying in the hospital bed, I frowned at her. "Sun Earnyu, do you really hate me that much? If it weren't for you, I would have been the second daughter of the Shur family, raised with my parents' love from childhood. I wouldn't have been stuck with such an unpleasant name like Sun Earnyu. I should have been Shurnua." Her gaze was fierce, as if she wished she could kill me at that moment. Bullet comments flashed wildly across my screen. Damn, what's going on? Is the female lead reborn? How can there be a female lead like this, who speaks of usurping someone else's place so matter-of-factly? The case is solved. The female lead deliberately hid the female supporting character's medical report. Poor female supporting character. I showed a puzzled expression. "I don't know what you're talking about," Sun Earnyu sneered. "Whether you know or not doesn't matter anymore. What should be mine, I will take it back, and you won't live much longer." I scoffed. "You're just the daughter of a nanny. What could possibly be yours?" A shadow flickered in her eyes. What she hated most was having her background brought up, but in reality, even if she was the daughter of a nanny, there was nothing to be ashamed of in striving to succeed through her own efforts. It wasn't that I looked down on her, it was just that she couldn't adjust her mindset properly. A moment later, she smiled and said, "I am indeed the daughter of a nanny, but soon you won't even compare to me, the daughter of a nanny." As she said, while I was in the hospital, my father suspended me from my position, citing my inability to continue in a key role due to my health. The Chin family first expressed their regret that I had developed cancer at such a young age, saying they would hire the world's best experts to treat me, and then mentioned that Chin-moo, who grew up with me, was like a brother to me and would accompany me through my treatment. Finally, they announced the engagement of Chin-moo and Sun Earnyu. With this series of moves, it seemed as though the Chin family owed me nothing. After Chin-moo and Sun Earnyu got engaged, the Chin and Shur families began to collaborate closely. The Chin family shared its autonomous driving technology with the Shur family, while the Shur family shared its new energy technology with the Chin family. It was truly a powerful alliance. So this is what Sun Earnyu meant when she said she would help her father obtain the Chin family's autonomous driving data. By positioning herself as a bridge between the Chin and Shur families, she got what she wanted without breaking the law. She certainly has a brain. In my past life, I didn't lose for no reason, but no matter what method she used, obtaining the Chin family's research data on autonomous driving was also my goal. In fact, I didn't just get the research data, I gained an entire research team. I'm very satisfied. It's time to close the net. I showed up at the hotel for Chin-moo and Sun Earnyu's engagement banquet. It was clear that both the Chin and Shur families attached great importance to this engagement banquet, as almost all the prominent figures in Haicheng were present, and at the entrance of the banquet hall, on the engagement photo of Chin-moo and Sun Earnyu's name had been changed to Sun Nua. It seems she really cares about her name. When I appeared in the banquet hall, almost everyone's gaze turned toward me. I was wearing a long red dress, with a well-proportioned figure, a rosy complexion, and a healthy glow, nothing like someone suffering from cancer. The expressions of the Shur and Chin families immediately changed. Chin-moo was the first to approach, his eyes filled with panic and displeasure. He asked, "Anan, why are you here?" I smiled and said, "After all, we grew up together like siblings. How could I not come to my brother's wedding?" Sun Earnyu also walked over, looking at me with a smug expression, but her voice was soft and gentle. "It's wonderful that you've come to bless us, sister. I was afraid you might blame me, sister. I hope you don't mind that I'm with brother Chin-moo." "I don't mind. You can just pick up the trash I don't want," I said sincerely. As soon as the words fell, the expressions of Chin-moo and Sun Earnyu changed. "Anan, you're not feeling well, you should go back to the hospital. We all understand your feelings." Dad frowned, signaling the security guard to come and escort me away. I looked at him and asked, "Dad, I am your biological daughter. Are you really willing to choose Sun Earnyu, the daughter of a nanny, over me?" Dad said expressionlessly, "Anan, it's not that Dad doesn't want you, it's just that your body needs proper treatment." Upon hearing this, My heart completely turned cold from the moment I was hospitalized. Dad never came to see me, not even once. In that case, I don't need to show him the slightest bit of mercy either. Just as the security guard was about to escort me out, the police walked in and went straight to Dad and Mr. Cheen. Mr. Cheen, you are suspected of money laundering and embezzlement of public funds. Please come with us. The police handcuffed Dad. The sudden turn of events was completely unexpected, and this engagement party was ultimately unable to proceed. How did the plot turn out like this? Both of the female lead's backers have been arrested, so how is she supposed to compete with the female supporting character, relying on two legal scammers? The female lead isn't a good person either. The female lead was already rotten from the moment she maliciously hid the supporting female character's medical report. In the midst of the chaos, son Ernie stopped me. It's you, it was all you. She glared at me fiercely. I curved the corner of my lips and nodded. Yes, I did all of it. So what? Son Ernie seemed to realize something, taking 2 steps back with an expression of disbelief on her face. You came back too? This conversation might take a while, so I found a chair and sat down, replying, a little earlier than you. Damn, the female supporting character is also reborn. I knew it. How could the supporting female character have swapped the female lead and her sister back from the start? So that's how it is. This is a direct confrontation. It's just too thrilling. Son Ernie's eyes were red, but she smiled. So what if you came back? Even without me, you should have died. Are you talking about this? I took out a piece of paper and handed it to her. This is exactly the medical report she hid, which states that I have advanced stage stomach cancer. Her eyes widened as if she had finally understood everything, and she exclaimed sharply, you did it on purpose. I laughed heartily and shrugged. What else? I've been reborn. Even if stomach cancer is my fate, I can choose to get treatment at an early stage. In this life, I do not have stomach cancer. Perhaps in my previous life, because of my mother, even having a proper meal was a luxury for me. When I was young, she never let me eat my fill in order to keep me slender. After my sister was born, to prevent my mother from applying the same methods to her, I studied tirelessly and was extremely strict with my figure management. I told my mother that having me to uphold the family's image was enough, and that my sister should be allowed to grow up carefree. However, I never expected that in my previous life, my sister would turn out to be so ungrateful. In this life, I eat well, live well, undergo regular checkups, and am in excellent health. I haven't developed cancer. The medical report that son Ernie hid was actually forged by me. It was all to make my father let his guard down, give me shares, and let me enter the group, because in his eyes, I was about to die, and no matter how much I gained, would eventually return it to him. Clearly, some people in the bullet comments have realized my scheme. In other words, the female supporting character had previously forged a medical report, deliberately making the female lead believe that she really had cancer, which caused everyone to let their guard down around her. The female supporting character is so clever. With just one medical report, she managed to deceive everyone. Now that the heads of both the Cheen and Sher families have been imprisoned, I wonder what the female supporting character plans to do next. This situation is also quite good for the female lead, right? With the male lead's father imprisoned, the male lead can take control of the Cheen family, and the female lead will be promoted from the wife of the CEO to the wife of the chairman. Son Ernie also realized this point, lifting her chin to say to me, I haven't lost either. Brother Cheen Moo is still fine, and in the end, you will still be defeated by us. I sneered inwardly. How foolish. Having schemed this far, how could I possibly let Cheen Moo take power smoothly? I hold the 10% of shares given by my father. My sister has entrusted her 10% to me, and my mother originally held 5%, but I had pushed her too hard before. Whenever Dad needed my help with something, I would control Mom's money. I took the opportunity to instruct my uncle to buy the 5% of shares in Mom's hands. Combined with the 3% of scattered shares I acquired, I now hold 28% of the shares. With these 28% of shares, I have enough control over the group, but the 15% of shares in Dad's hands pose a threat to me. If he were to give the shares to someone else, it would be even more troublesome. I am not in control of the group for the time being, just stabilizing the situation. The evidence of Cheen's father and my father's crimes is very complete, and the procuratorate has approved the arrest, just waiting for the trial. A month later, I went to the detention center to see my father. It's you, it's all you. My father became very agitated as soon as he saw me, his eyes red as he tried to rush over, but was promptly stopped by the lawyer. Chairman, hitting someone in the detention center will only lengthen your sentence. That one sentence alone was enough to control my father. It was clear he was still suppressing his anger, his words practically forced through gritted teeth. "Why on earth did you do this? Haven't I been good to you?" I laughed mockingly. "Dad, I'm just applying what I learned from you. You taught me that for the sake of profit, one can do anything, even to family." His lips trembled, unable to utter a single word. It seems he is well aware of the things he has done. He knew exactly how my mother treated me, but because it didn't harm his interests, he could stand by and do nothing. Later, he could even exploit the conflict between me and my mother, using punishment against her to show favor to me. Upon learning that I had stomach cancer, his first thought was how to use me, not how to treat me. It's just that in the end, I was the one who outsmarted him. "Dad, I've been very good to you. You wanted my life, and all I did was help you find a new place to retire," I said, his face flushed with anger. "You unfilial daughter. You'll be struck by lightning from the heavens." I laughed out loud. This shows he has no other recourse, so he's pinning his hopes on something that doesn't exist. Whether I'll be struck by lightning or not is beside the point. "I'm here today for Dad." I signaled the lawyer to play the prepared video for Dad to see. The video was news about the Chin family. After Mr. Chin's father was arrested, the Chin group fell into chaos. Chin Mu simply did not have the ability to turn the tide and was directly expelled from the group. The person now in charge of the Chin group is a former director, not a member of the Chin family. To prevent Mr. Chin's father from being released, that director exposed many of the things he had done in the past. However, after serving as chairman for so many years, Mr. Chin's father was essentially tied to the Chin group. As a result, while he faced numerous charges, the Chin group also came under investigation. Truly a case of harming the enemy at the cost of self-destruction. Of course, I also had a hand in this. After the video finished, I gave my father some time to digest it before saying, "Dad, I can guarantee that your matter ends here, but only if I can keep the others in the group in check." He understood what I meant. He also knew he had no other choice. In an instant, his back hunched over, as if he had aged 10 years. "Hand it over," he said. The lawyer passed over the share transfer agreement. "The supporting female character is so cool. Just like that, she got the shares from her scumbag father." Honestly, with the supporting female character's intelligence, what does the female lead have to compete with her? Still fighting, both the male and female leads have been kicked out of the mansion. After leaving the detention center, I looked up at the sky and took a deep breath. It seems that my era has only just begun. Once in power, the first thing I did was acquire the autonomous driving Randy team from the Chin group. One day, as I was leaving work and heading to the underground parking lot to get my car, Chin Mu appeared before me. As soon as he saw me, he fell to his knees with a thud, his eyes red, and said to me, "Anan, I was wrong. It was all my parents who forced me to get engaged to Sun Erniu. You are the only one I love. I should have been braver back then, so I wouldn't have hurt you. Anan, please forgive me." Don't believe him. Female supporting character. He abandoned you back then when he found out you had stomach cancer. Not only that, he was holding hands and kissing the underage female lead while still engaged to the female supporting character. Now that the female lead has stomach cancer, he's abandoned her too. What a scumbag. Sun Erniu has stomach cancer. I raised an eyebrow. "I never loved you, and I know exactly how you and Sun Erniu carried on. Don't come looking for me again." I couldn't be bothered to waste any more time on him. The color drained from his face as he sprang up from the ground, grabbing my arm and shouting hoarsely, "No, I don't believe it. You love me." Seeing him in such a frenzied state, I knew there was no point in trying to reason with him. Just then, security arrived to restrain him, and I got into the car and drove away. I had someone investigate Sun Erniu's whereabouts and learned that Aunt Chen and Sun Erniu had returned to the countryside. I chose a weekend to go to the countryside. As I arrived at the door, I could hear Sun Erniu scolding from inside. "No money, no money. That's all you ever say. If you hadn't spent all the money on Shernua, how could there be none left for my medical treatment? Then after all these years by Chin Mu's side, you haven't gained anything either," Aunt Chen retorted. I was in a very good mood. Over the years, Aunt Chen had indeed spent most of her money on my sister. From the moment Aunt Chen stopped spending money on my sister, I knew she had realized that my sister wasn't her daughter, but it was already too late by then. Just as I was thinking, Aunt Chen came out. Upon seeing me, Aunt Chen rushed over and knelt down, pleading, "Miss, please give me back the money I spent on the second young lady. Nyo Nyo can't be without money for treatment." Hearing the commotion outside, Sun Erniu also stumbled out. Her condition is much worse than in my previous life. She is emaciated, with a sallow complexion, so thin that her eyeballs seem about to pop out. She rushed toward me like a madwoman, shrieking, "Sharon, you bitch, how dare you come here? You knew all along that Noah isn't my mother's daughter. Yet you let my mother spend so much money on her. Give me back the money." I admired her ugly state for a while, then revealed a satisfied smile. "That's exactly why I came today." After I finished speaking, hope flickered in son Ernie's eyes. I made a phone call. Not long after, a truck drove in. The workers unloaded everything from it. There are clothes, toys, accessories, books, stationery, and so on, all brand new. The secretary handed an account book to Aunt Chen. "These are all the things Aunt Chen has bought for Xiao Nua over the years. Each item is recorded in the book." There were also some food items that couldn't be preserved, but I've noted them down as well. Although Xiao Nua didn't eat those, I can still convert them into cash for you. The total comes to 21,050 yuan, and 45 cents, rounded off. I'll give you 21,050 yuan, and 50 cents. With that, I handed the money to Aunt Chen. Spending 20,000 to watch a spectacle is worth it. Son Ernie glared with wide eyes. "Sharon, you're playing me." "Don't put it so harshly, it's just your own greed and the consequences you brought upon yourselves." I looked at the ruby bracelet on my hand and said with a smile, "This bracelet is really expensive, costing 500,000. Thud. Son Ernie spat out a mouthful of blood, collapsed to the ground, and pointed at me, roaring, "Sharon, you will die a terrible death." I sneered, took one last look, and walked away. Not long after I left, son Ernie died. It is said she died with her eyes wide open. Muttering something about rebirth before her death, I sneered coldly. Even if she were truly reborn, I wouldn't be afraid. Besides, if someone like her could be reborn, it would truly be a sign that heaven has no eyes. Aunt Chen divorced her husband early on to stay in the city and watch over her sister. Her daughter died young, leaving her alone, abandoned by all. Her later years were predictable. As for my mother, I sent her to a nursing home, where meal times and dietary restrictions are strictly enforced. I did it for her own good, to ensure she lives a long and healthy life. Sis, I got into graduate school without taking the entrance exam. I'll treat you to a big dinner tonight to celebrate. I received a call from my younger sister, her voice on the phone so full of life. "All right," I replied with a smile. Outside, the sun was blazing, and the sky was clear and boundless. In my world, I am the leading lady. After hearing the second story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. After my brother-in-law passed away, we adopted his daughter. My niece is naturally sensitive and feels that we treat her less favorably than our son. She also spreads rumors everywhere, claiming that we are raising her to covet her father's inheritance. My husband loves her for her father's sake and never takes it to heart. My son and I kept retreating step by step. Little did we expect that this would embolden my niece, who joined forces with outsiders to set our entire family on fire, seizing our family property. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day we adopted my niece. Watching her put on a show of crying and wailing, unwilling to leave home, I turned and walked away. Just as well, I don't want to either. Before I died, I saw my husband beaten to death with a club right before my eyes. Song Jiao said that since Song Jianjun was, after all, her own uncle, she was willing to give him a quick death. My son Song Yu and I weren't so lucky. Song Jiao ordered several thugs to pin Song Yu to the ground, crushing his dignity. I knelt on the ground, crying and pleading, but to no avail. I wanted to lunge at Song Jiao and perish together with her. However, my neck and limbs were chained, leaving me utterly powerless to fight back. I could only watch as my loved ones were tortured to death, and my adopted niece was right there, giggling as she watched the spectacle. She accused me with deep resentment. "When I was little, you wouldn't even buy me a dress. No money. If you didn't have money, you shouldn't have raised me. Where did the money come from for your son's wedding and house? You must have stolen my father's inheritance. Anyone who favors sons over daughters deserves to die. Go to hell and argue your case there." My mouth was full of blood, leaving me with no way to defend myself. The last memory is only of an unusually large fire, reducing everything to nothingness. I'm so filled with hatred. I shouldn't have let my compassion run wild and adopted Song Jiao. I raised a thankless wretch who destroyed the happy life of our family of 3. I never expected that when I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day I adopted Song Jiao. Looking at the little girl curled up in the corner, crying so hard she could barely catch her breath, a chill began to spread from the soles of my feet. Song Jiao. I vaguely recalled the events that had happened during this time. My brother-in-law was recently in a car accident and passed away. Upon hearing the news, my sister-in-law took the remaining money from the house, held her newborn son, and ran away. My husband, with reddened eyes, tugged at my sleeve. He was heartbroken for his brother and wanted to help support the family. I couldn't sleep at all last night, tossing and turning. After the younger brother-in-law was buried, only Song Jiao remained in the family. The father-in-law and mother-in-law had passed away early. Relatives on Song Jiao's mother's side did not attend the funeral, acting as if they had cut off all ties, and they simply did not take Song Jiao seriously. If my family was unwilling to adopt her, the still young Song Jiao would have to be sent to an orphanage. My husband, remembering the years he and his younger brother had relied on each other, swore an oath to treat Song Jiao as his own daughter. In my previous life, I readily agreed, never expecting it would end up inviting a wolf into the house. Following our earlier agreement, I should step forward and take responsibility for adopting Song Jiao. Others took the opportunity to praise her. Since Jiao Jiao is crying so much, it seems she doesn't want to go to my house. Let's just forget it. I watched indifferently as the little girl in front of me stared with disbelief in her eyes. I sneered inwardly. Isn't this just an act? Her brother-in-law's family favored boys over girls. As soon as Song Jiao was old enough to understand, she was forced to do chores, and she hated it to the core. Now she's putting on a reluctant act, making it seem like my home is some kind of hellhole. Everyone exchanged glances, and those who knew the inside story were just watching the drama unfold. Song Jiao's face instantly flushed bright red with embarrassment. My husband, Song Jianjun, was too embarrassed to argue with me, so he kept tugging at my clothes, the collar tightening uncomfortably around my neck. I impatiently slapped his hand away and said coldly, "Our family just bought a house in the county town, and taking on another child would really strain our finances. How about this? Why don't you all chip in a little? Who would be happy raising someone else's child for nothing? Besides, we're all ordinary folks, barely making ends meet. Where would we get extra money? They don't act like good people themselves, yet they come to morally pressure us. I'm speaking bluntly, which is like tearing off everyone's fig leaf." They angrily condemned me with disapproving looks. Their son, Song Yu, was old enough to understand the situation. His face flushed red, unable to speak. Song Jianjun couldn't hold back any longer and whispered awkwardly, "Hey, wasn't this already agreed upon? It's just one little girl, just an extra pair of chopsticks. From now on, I'll work more overtime and earn more. I promise I won't lower the standard of living for you and Xiao Yu." His words seemed to open a breach. Those who were unwilling to do good deeds themselves all started persuading me. "A daughter is so thoughtful, and since you already have a son, it's perfect to have both a son and a daughter. This is a blessing that many people can only dream of. If this blessing is so great, why don't you take it yourself?" That person's family also had a son, so it was easy for him to talk without feeling the pain. I retorted angrily. Seeing that I was determined, the others didn't dare to persuade me further, afraid of getting themselves into trouble. At that moment, Song Jiao finally stopped crying. Standing in front of me, she timidly twisted the corner of her clothes and said with a pout, "Auntie, I'm willing to go to your house. I won't spend much money, I can work, and I won't take my brother's things." Her confession softened the hearts of everyone present. Only I, who knew her true nature, continued to speak with a cold, unyielding heart. "I don't want to adopt her. Can you understand human language? I don't want anyone else sharing my son's affection, so." I didn't even have a second child. Xiao Yu is about to enter middle school, and I don't have any extra energy to spare. Since no one wants to take responsibility, let's just send him to an orphanage. Seeing the determination in my eyes, my husband crouched down in agony, burying his head in his hands. Song Jiao's face turned pale, and she stood there speechless. After much arguing, no one was willing to take her in. In the end, Song Jiao had to be sent to an orphanage. It spread from 1 to 10. And from 10 to 100. From that day on, I became known as a cold-blooded creature among relatives and friends. I couldn't even tolerate a little girl. If Song Jiaorua were a normal child, to be honest, I would feel duty-bound. My past life is proof of that. Being soft-hearted toward others is being cruel to oneself. I cherished family ties, but in the end, wasn't sacrificing the lives of an entire family enough? Besides, I'm thinking that in this lifetime, Song Jiao hasn't come to provoke me yet, and not holding a grudge against her is already being magnanimous. I can't talk to outsiders about those supernatural and bizarre things. I can only hold my breath and endure the rumors. Go ahead and curse. As long as I can protect our family, I am willing. I thought this matter was already settled. If Song Jianjun is thoughtful in the future, he can visit more often on his own. One day 2 months later, I left work with a heart full of joy. specifically buying my son a burger and a toy. Song Jiao was possessive, occupying too much of my attention in my previous life. My son, neglected by me, became quiet and withdrawn. In this life, I want to do my utmost to make it up to him. To my surprise, when I opened the door, I saw Song Jiao sitting casually on the sofa, with my son obediently doing his homework beside her, and her finger poking Xiao Yu's head. "What are you doing?" I instinctively shouted. Startling everyone in the room, Song Jiao immediately shrank into a pitiful ball. Song Jianjun awkwardly smiled while holding the spatula. Not wanting to scare the child, I comforted my son, handed the things to him, told him to go back to his room, and then pulled Song Jianjun into the kitchen. "Are you crazy? We agreed to send her to the orphanage. What's going on now?" Whinnying, "You don't know how pitiful Jiao Jiao is." Song Jianjun wiped his face and said with a choked voice, "From his account, I pieced together Song Jiao's life in the orphanage. The food was bland and often insufficient, the teachers were harsh and quick to yell. Older kids often force her to wash their feet, and if she doesn't do it well, she has to drink the foot-washing water." I almost laughed out loud hearing this. It sounded quite lovely. Song Jianjun gave me a strange look inside, saying he couldn't bear to watch the child suffer. "Jiao Jiao is so young, she doesn't understand anything yet, and without parents, she's being bullied. As her uncle, I really can't stand it." "So you brought her back just because you felt sorry for her," we all agreed on this before. "We have a son too. Have you considered how he feels?" I tried to persuade him patiently, hoping he would send Song Jiao back to the orphanage. "I'm not heartless either. The orphanage Song Jiao went to was carefully chosen, the management is strict, but there's never been any history of mistreating children. The director is even an acquaintance I asked my family to find. She looks like a kind person at first glance. Besides, Song Jiao is not someone to be trifled with. In my past life, I never saw her come out on the losing end. We can't just take the child's word for it on the specifics. A child may not know how to speak properly, but she sure knows how to talk nonsense." But Song Jianjun was determined this time. "Honey, please, let's just raise her until she's 18, okay? Mom, my little sister is so pitiful. Please keep her. I can buy fewer clothes and eat less snacks." At some point, Song Yu appeared at the door, earnestly pleading for Song Jiao. Meanwhile, the culprit hid behind her, looking like a frightened little thing. "I can disregard Song Jiangwo, but my son Song Yu is my bottom line, and I don't want to let him down." After much hesitation, I agreed to let Song Jiao stay. Keeping her close, I'll have a better idea of what she might do if she were to be let out. With her petty nature, who knows how she would seek revenge. Nevertheless, I still warned Song Jianjun in advance that if I noticed anything unusual, he would have to pack up and leave immediately. The three of them jumped for joy right in front of me. Suppressing my annoyance, I spoke openly and honestly with Song Jiao. "You can stay, but there are some things we need to clarify first." Song Jiao nodded, not fully understanding, but unable to hide the joy in her eyes. Since we had decided to adopt Song Jiao, it was time to get things moving. I went to the orphanage myself to handle the paperwork, inquired with the director about Song Jiao's situation, and also copied some surveillance footage for records. The director expressed helplessness and tactfully told me that Song Jiao was determined to leave. She had no intention of getting along with everyone and was suspected of deliberately provoking others. As soon as the teacher tried to reason with her, she would cry as if the sky were falling, causing panic among everyone. As for this hot potato, the orphanage wasn't particularly keen on keeping her either, but they were reluctant to say so out of consideration for feelings. Before leaving, the teacher subtly reminded me Song Jiao is a selfish child, and I shouldn't waste my kindness on her. In my past life, it wasn't that no one had told me this, but I always thought she was just a child. What bad intentions could she possibly have? Hearing it again now, I was stunned for a moment and repeatedly expressed my gratitude. I didn't mention this reminder to Song Jianjun. He's quite careless, and unless he sees it with his own eyes, he never believes it. After I returned from the orphanage, a grand adoption banquet was held. Song Jiao took off the dirty long gown she usually wore at home and changed into a princess dress. She held her head high with pride, trying to make herself look comfortable in the outfit. I saw it all but pretended not to notice. As the banquet began, Song Jianjun, on behalf of the whole family, expressed his welcome to Song Jiao. "Jiao Jiao, from now on, you are my own daughter. Just like Xiao Yu, whatever he has, you will have too. Treat this place as your own home. Your aunt may have a sharp tongue, but she has a soft heart." Hee. His face flushed with emotion as he spoke cheerfully. After his brother passed away, he did not adopt his daughter. Recently, Song Jianjun has been frequently criticized behind his back, he had been holding in his frustration, but today, he finally felt relieved. The relatives who had previously scolded us now wore satisfied smiles and nodded proudly, as if they were the ones who had given everything. Just as the atmosphere was at its best, I spoke coldly. Jiao Jiao's father passed away suddenly, her mother took off with the remaining money, and they were left with a pile of debt. After selling the house to pay off the debts, only 20,000 was left. Today, let everyone bear witness, all the money will be given to Jiao Jiao, and we won't take a single cent. Song Jiao's face flushed with excitement. I didn't give her a card, instead, I handed over cash directly, stack by stack, making sure everyone saw it clearly to avoid any future nitpicking. This move caught Song Jianjun completely off guard. He expressed his dissatisfaction in a low voice. What's all this talk about money? Jiao Jiao is still young, how will she be able to stay at home in the future? Even brothers should settle accounts clearly. What needs to be made clear should be made clear. I pushed his face away, rolling my eyes as I spoke. In my past life, I did good deeds without leaving my name. Teacher Song Jianjun, afraid that Song Jiao might feel uncomfortable, insisted that all the money spent was left by his younger brother. This led Song Jiao to believe that our family had taken the inheritance. Let's get everything clear in advance this time, so she won't have any ulterior motives. Why did Song Jiao's mother run away? It was because she was afraid of having to repay the debts. She doesn't hold a grudge for being abandoned, but instead, she targets us, the ones who raised her, at every turn. Now, I'm laying all the cards on the table. Even if some people think I'm stingy, I'll endure it. Being hurt by rumors and gossip is better than losing your life. Song Jiao officially moved into my house. I treat everyone equally. Song Yu had everything she needed, clothing, food, housing, and transportation, all provided for her without any lack. However, he wouldn't be as strict with her as in his previous life, pushing her to become successful. If she wanted to sign up for any tutoring classes, that was fine. If her mind wasn't on studying, I would spend money to get her into them. Even the parents of her classmates started making sarcastic remarks. She's not even your own child, spending so much money. Be careful you don't raise an ungrateful brat. Song Jiao's mom, you really have too much money with nowhere to spend it. Song Jiao likes pretty clothes, so buy them anyway. Her parents only left 20,000 in total, and I've been keeping a detailed account of the rest. I didn't say a word and paid the bill generously. Song Jianjun watched in astonishment. He secretly apologized to me, full of remorse, whinnying, I misunderstood you before. I never expected you to treat Jiao Jiao even better than Xiaoyu, but we are just ordinary people, and Jiao Jiao is like this. I covered my face, pretending to be heartbroken. What could I do? Everyone was watching, afraid I would mistreat Song Jiao. I didn't even dare to say a harsh word. Song Jianjun sighed and walked away. I watched his back, feeling my heart grow colder inch by inch. I thought about how he was also deceived in his previous life, so I didn't hold it against him. If he truly can't see things clearly, then I'll just let him go. At worst, I'll raise our son on my own. Song Jiao soon discovered that her unreasonable demands had actually earned me a good reputation. Gradually, she stopped making a fuss and pretended to be well-behaved. When I took her out, people who didn't know the truth envied me for having both a son and a daughter. With the lessons from my past life, I paid more attention to my son Song Yu's condition than before, afraid that Song Jiao's arrival would affect him. Song Yu was clumsy with words, yet timid and kind-hearted, and extremely fond of his younger sister, Song Jiao. In his previous life, he was deceived by Song Jiao, which ultimately cost him his marriage and job, leaving him hiding in his room all day, too afraid to face anyone. That day, Song Yu returned half an hour later than usual. I didn't take it to heart. After all, it's normal for children to be playful. I didn't want to be overly cautious or make a big deal out of nothing. While doing homework in the evening, Song Yu started to space out from time to time. Unlike his usual focused self, I asked him if he was tired from studying. Song Yu's eyes flickered, and he lowered his head, not daring to answer. As he lowered his head, I caught sight of the purple bruise on the back of his neck. It was clearly left by a slap. I nervously held the child's hand, afraid of scaring him. Don't be afraid, Xiaoyu. Who bullied you? Can you tell Mom? Mom is here, and I won't let anyone bully you. Song Yu has had few friends since childhood. They rarely fought when playing together, especially since that handprint looked like it belonged to someone older. Mom, I can't tell you. It's a secret with my sister. I promised her I wouldn't tell anyone. Song Jiao, I knew it, but since Song Yu said so, I naturally wouldn't make the child break their promise. I only agreed that Song Yu should protect himself these days. Don't be alone, stay with friends. If anyone bullies you, tell the teacher. The next day, I didn't go to work and specifically kept an eye on Song Jiao. I saw her swaggering around with a few older kids. After they said something, they burst into laughter together. After skipping class, Song Jiao spent the whole day hanging out at the amusement park and internet cafes with those kids. I secretly took a few photos and later went to the school to inquire privately. Those kids are the school bullies, not studying properly and just idling around all day. In the evening, I told Song Yu about the incident. I also pointed to Song Jiao's happy, smiling face for Song Yu to see. Song Yu looked at me with a pale face, bewildered. Why did my sister lie to me? Those people threatened me, saying they would beat my sister if I didn't give them money. So I held him close, not saying much, only reminding Song Yu to stay far away from Song Jiao from now on. Whatever she says, don't believe it easily. Song Yu clenched his fists tightly and responded in a muffled voice. In the following days, Song Yu seemed uninterested in everything. He no longer talked about his sister all the time like he did before. Song Jiao was puzzled and even took the initiative to show goodwill, but Song Yu awkwardly avoided her. I used Song Yu's heavy academic pressure as an excuse to brush it off on his behalf. After this incident, I agonized over it repeatedly and ultimately felt that keeping Song Jiao, this troublemaker, around wasn't quite appropriate. We couldn't let people live in constant fear and anxiety. Unfortunately, Song Jianjun was away on a business trip those few days, so I couldn't make the decision alone. However, I had underestimated the extent of Song Jiao's malice. When teacher Song Yu called, my heart skipped a beat. Rushing to the school, I saw him completely drenched, wrapped in the teacher's coat, pitifully curled up in a chair. I hurried over, touched the child's head, and he obediently hugged my waist without saying a word. Teacher, what happened to Song Yu? The child trembled in my arms. The teacher pushed up his glasses awkwardly and told me the whole story. It turned out that rumors had suddenly spread in the school these past few days, claiming that I was abusing Song Jiao at home. The children had indeed seen Song Yu ignoring Song Jiao, so they believed it. A few children who were close to Song Jiao took advantage of Song Yu going to the bathroom, locked him in a stall, and poured a large bucket of water on him. The teacher noticed Song Yu was absent from class and only then rescued him. Mrs. Song, it's the 21st century now. Favoring sons over daughters is unacceptable. I heard Song Jiao is an orphan. As a mother yourself, you know how pitiful children can be. As adults, we should be more tolerant and set a good example for Song Yu, don't you think? After explaining the situation, the teacher offered meaningful advice. My mom didn't treat her badly. My mom is the best mom. Song Yu loudly defended me. It happened to be during the break, and many curious children, not knowing any better, shouted from outside, the wicked stepmother is here. How scary, run away. The voices reached everyone's ears. I quickly planned in my mind the matter of Song Yu transferring schools. However, if we are to leave, we must do so with a clear conscience. I asked the teacher to call Song Jiao over so I could confront her. Song Jiao entered timidly, and upon seeing me, she instinctively hid behind the teacher, which made others look at me with reproachful eyes, remained expressionless and calmly said, Song Jiao, will you honestly tell the truth, or should I call the police and we investigate thoroughly? Song Jiao was still young after all, and she didn't handle things meticulously. With careful investigation, the cause could be found. She was just holding on to a sliver of hope. Upon hearing that I wanted to call the police, the other teachers all looked disapproving. Children are young. You can't just threaten them at every turn. Song Jiao, don't be afraid. If you have any grievances, speak up in front of the teachers. Song Jiao had been biting her lower lip, stubbornly refusing to speak. Meeting my gaze, she suddenly burst into loud sobs. I'm sorry, auntie, little you brother ignored me, and I got angry and said nonsense. I didn't know. I never thought it would turn out like this. I won't dare to do it again. Please spare me. She clearly made a mistake, yet she tried to get away with it by using a pitiful tone. Speechlessly, I took out the video from the orphanage where she was caught lying and played it loudly. The teacher who had previously advised me showed an embarrassed expression. Song Jiao likes to lie. Whether she has bullied anyone at school can be easily found out with just a question. Among the children watching the commotion, two slender girls stepped forward. They accused Song Jiao of previously leading older children to take their money and threatening them not to tell the teacher. Amid the lively discussion, I took Song Yu and quietly slipped away, having accomplished our goal. As for Song Jiao, the school has boarding facilities, so I first asked the teacher to let her stay. She made Song Yu suffer from gossip for a few days, so she should also get a taste of that feeling. When Song Jianjun returned home, I immediately told him what had happened and made the request to send Song Jiao away. Song Jianjun was filled with disbelief. He usually only cares about going to work, not about the children. Song Jiao at least knows who her backer is and never shows any flaws in front of Song Jianjun. If you don't agree, we'll get a divorce, and I'll take Xiao Yu with me. I looked at Song Jianjun's hesitant expression and said impatiently, I really want to take the child and leave without a second thought. Let's see who else Song Jiao can mess with. However, as soon as Song Yu heard we were getting a divorce, he started crying and promised to behave in the future. In the end, Song Jianjun gave in, transfer Song Jiao to a boarding school, so we won't see her often. As for Song Yu, he should also be transferred to another school to avoid being affected by the previous rumors. Song Jianjun knows that we were wronged in this matter. In the future, he will be even more considerate and caring, no longer the kind of hands-off boss who only cares about work. Seeing Song Yu's smile growing more and more, I feel much more relaxed, which can be considered a blessing in disguise. Song Jiao has gone to boarding school. I only need to be responsible for regularly providing money and buying daily necessities. I haven't missed out on the dresses and cosmetics that the little girl likes. I buy everything that other families have. Which relative likes to gossip and talk behind my back? When Song Jiao is on vacation, I have Song Jianjun take her to his house. We're all human beings. There's no reason to single out my family to take advantage of. Thus, a few years passed peacefully, without anyone to discipline her. Song Jiao became the spitting image of her father. She spent all her time hanging out with troublemakers from the streets, smoking, drinking, and acting recklessly. She didn't even get into high school, so Song Jianjun pulled some strings and paid to get her into a school. I didn't stop him. If we could use money to send her far away, it was a pretty good deal. The year Song Jiao turned 18, Song Yu graduated from university. Not only did he secure a government job in the provincial capital, but he was also preparing to marry his girlfriend of 3 years. I happily prepared to buy a house for him with Song Jianjun. I didn't hide this news from anyone, just to see what Song Jiao would do now. In my previous life, when Song Jiao found out, she cried and made a scene, demanding that we buy her a house too, otherwise she threatened to jump from that house and bring bad luck to our family. Song Yu's girlfriend, upon hearing about such an unreasonable sister-in-law in the family, firmly broke up with him. Song Jiao even went to Song Yu's workplace to cause a scene, ruining his reputation and ultimately getting him fired. After the news spread, Song Jiao did not cause trouble as I had imagined. I was almost convinced that she had truly calmed down. I never expected her to be so clever in this lifetime. Knowing how to use roundabout tactics, I watched the girl in the video. She was dressed plainly, without makeup, with messy hair, and the background alternated between a school and a dilapidated little dark room. Song Jiao had created a persona for herself as someone who spoils her brother. I was adopted, so I need to repay my uncle and aunt. Doing a bit more work is nothing. My brother needs to buy a house and get married, and I'm still in high school. I can only do odd jobs during breaks. Anyway, I'm not good at studying, so it won't waste any time. Everyone, please don't talk nonsense. My aunt doesn't favor boys over girls. I do it all voluntarily. Yeah, I almost didn't even get to go to high school, so I'm quite satisfied. I really long for the university campus, but unfortunately, I have to go to work right after high school graduation. I can only rely on myself as my own support. Keep going. Ahaha. In the video, the girl sometimes furrows her brows, looking pitiful, and at other times smiles through tears, showing great resilience. To be fair, if I were unaware of the truth, I could easily be deceived. She has attracted many fans by pretending to be obedient and playing the victim. Those people, under the banner of fighting the strong and helping the weak, quickly dug up Song Jiao's past. The news that my family was planning to buy a house spread quickly. The rumors spread wider and wider, with some even saying I intended to sell Song Jiao to buy a house for my son's marriage. Song Jiao explained over and over again that it was all a misunderstanding. I treated her very well, but the angry crowd simply wouldn't listen, and the situation only grew more intense. Hypocrite, adopting a little girl who lost both parents, only to send her off to a boarding school. Why not send your own son instead? This family is disgusting, using the pretense of doing good deeds while treating their niece like a servant. Is your family's crown prince the only treasure, while other people's children are just worthless grass? News spreads quickly online. Relatives, friends, and neighbors all know about Song Jiao's situation. When I go to the market to buy groceries, people deliberately splash dirty water on me. Being pointed at and talked about on the street is a common occurrence. Song Jianjun slapped his thigh while calling Song Jiao begging her to explain things to everyone again. Those people online weren't stirred up by me. I've already urged them to be more rational. Oh, I was just thinking that since there's no hope for the college entrance exam, I'd save up some money to study abroad and get a bit of polish. I'm just a bit short on cash and wanted to earn some pocket money. I really didn't mean it, Uncle. Please don't take it to heart. Everyone is just joining in the fun, and it'll blow over in a few days. Song Jiao spoke sweetly, but that evening, she sold out Song Jianjun. She claimed he had called to have all his works deleted. This was interpreted by netizens as Song Jiao being threatened. Can they bear it? Of course not. Our family of 3 suffered even more intense attacks. Song Yu only comforted us, saying not to get too upset, and that he would find a way, but I already knew from his girlfriend that he had been suspended and investigated due to public opinion issues. I thought about it and still decided to meet Song Jiao once, to see what tricks she was up to. I can't remember the last time I saw Song Jiao. Back then, she still had blonde hair. The girl standing before me now is dressed in a school uniform. Neat and tidy, looking every bit the good student. She gives a shy smile and says with embarrassment, "Auntie, I just wanted to earn some money to study abroad. I didn't expect to cause you so much trouble. How much more does brother Xiao Yu need for his house? Maybe I can add a little more. After all, you've raised me for so many years, and I don't want to be called an ungrateful person." Song Jiao poured out her grievances to Song Jianjun with tears and sniffles. She said that without her own mother to care for her, she had never learned proper manners before. "I'm just a child. What do I know? No one has ever taught me what's right or wrong. Other children can cling to their parents and act spoiled, but I can only stay alone at school." Song Jianjun was so moved that tears and snot streamed down his face. If I hadn't been reborn, I would have been completely fooled by her acting skills. Song Jianjun felt as if his heart was breaking with pain. "Jiao Jiao, if you need money, just tell your uncle. Everyone supports your desire to study. I'll go back and discuss it with your brother Xiao Yu, and will prioritize your education first." Song Jiao was so moved that she nodded repeatedly, tears streaming down her face, looking utterly endearing. She was extremely cautious. Back then, I used a recording to trick Song Jiao, so throughout the day, her performance was flawless, never mentioning that it was about wanting money, just acting cute and playing the victim, using the same tactics they used on netizens to brainwash Song Jianjun. The two of them exchanged smiles and even made plans to visit the younger brother's grave to share the good news. A prodigal son's return is more precious than gold. Song Jianjun has always felt sorry for this niece of his. It's just that, because of me and Xiao Yu, he held back. I knew I would have to return empty-handed today, so I dejectedly turned off the phone recording. After finishing the meal with Song Jiao, I hurriedly said goodbye. Before leaving, Song Jiao said she wanted to give me a hug, then she whispered something in my ear. "Auntie must be very disappointed, right? Don't worry, I'm determined to get this money." She gave me a provocative smile when no one was looking. On the way back, Song Jianjun couldn't help but sigh to me. It's good that the child has grown up and become sensible. I can finally give my brother an explanation. She's already 18, capable of taking care of herself. Haven't we invested enough in her over the years? What nonsense are you talking? Jiao Jiao is my daughter, and I have an obligation to take care of her matters. As the elder, can't you be a bit more generous and not so nitpicky? I watched indifferently, feeling utterly disgusted inside. Once I got home, I immediately brought up the topic of divorce. This time, Song Yu did not stop him again. He had grown up and no longer needed his parents to revolve around him all day long. Over the years of growing up, he had also noticed Song Jianjun's favoritism. He understood that I had suffered a lot of grievances because of Song Jiao. Song Jianjun wants to support Song Jiao's education. That's fine. After dividing the family property, he can spend his money on whomever he wishes. I couldn't be bothered to care, but as for my share, Song Jiao can forget about taking it. The day of my death in my previous life is getting closer, and I feel very uneasy in my heart, unwilling to have any further involvement with Song Jiao. Taking advantage of this opportunity, a clean break would be better. Song Jianjun cried and made a scene, but I was determined to get a divorce. On the day I got my divorce certificate, I registered a new account. Every penny I spent on Song Jiao over the years, I recorded it all clearly, a total of 300,000, with her signature at the bottom. The 20,000 her father left behind back then was just a drop in the bucket. Moreover, during all these years that Song Jiao has been attending boarding school, I have never really stopped monitoring her. I would check on her news from time to time, often hiring people to take photos and record videos. She used to boast shamelessly earlier, "Just wait and see. All the money from my uncle's family will be mine in the future." my foolish uncle and silly brother, they both treat me as their own daughter and sister. She was dancing in a bar with revealing clothes, she was disciplined for bullying classmates. I presented evidence for all of these. Finally, here is my divorce certificate. The netizens' good intentions were taken for granted, and they were all furious. They directly attacked Song Jiao's account and even demanded that she return the money. Left with no choice, Song Jiao could only delete her account and flee. This time, her uncle's overflowing affection had nowhere to go. I did try to look for her a couple of times, wanting to see what she was up to now, but I gave up when I found no leads. Even though we were divorced, I didn't stop Song Yu from seeing his father. After Song Jiao went missing, Song Jianjun transferred the money back to his son. I told him to take it. Why be polite with your own father? It's not like we should let the ungrateful ones benefit. Buying a house in the provincial capital is very expensive. Having a little more now means less pressure for my son in the future. I didn't want to stay in my hometown listening to idle gossip, so I simply rented a place in the provincial capital and took on odd jobs to help support my son. Song Yu was busy with work, so he left the renovation matters to Song Jianjun. He happily helped out all day long, never complaining or showing fatigue. The days were busy and passed by in the blink of an eye. Half a year later, his son moved into the new house, just waiting to get married. Song Jianjun proposed to remarry me. I didn't agree for the time being. Song Jiao is like a ticking time bomb. We still need to be on guard to avoid getting involved again. In the few days before Song Jianjun was about to leave, he had been in a daze and absent-minded, spilled water all over the floor just by pouring it. Went out to buy groceries and came back empty-handed after a long time. I asked him with a puzzled look on my face what had happened. He just wouldn't say. I thought he was reluctant to leave us and gave him a serious scolding. What are you making a fuss about? Our son is having one happy occasion after another. Don't ask for trouble. Don't even think about living with our son and daughter-in-law. I won't agree to it. When you're old and can't move, it's only right for our son to support you. But not now. Song Jianjun did not respond, nodding perfunctorily. He has always been honest and straightforward, incapable of lying. I didn't take the matter to heart and continued to pursue it, until that day. He went to buy groceries and again didn't return for a long time, and my phone alerted me to a large money transaction. Song Jianjun's card was still linked to my phone number, and he didn't remove it after the divorce. My heart was pounding, and I felt like something bad had happened. I tried calling Song Jianjun, but the phone wouldn't connect, and later it was turned off completely. I forced myself to calm down. I thought about the possible situations he might be in. After much thought, there is no one else besides Song Jiao. What puzzles me is that if she wanted revenge, she should come after me. Song Jianjun has always treated her well. I called Song Yu and told him to be careful and avoid going to places with few people. After warning him, I reported it to the police. If the police investigate slowly, it might take a long time. I can't wait. Afraid that something might go wrong in the process, I might as well just lay out all my suspicions. As long as it can be proven that Song Jianjun was connected to Song Jiao before his disappearance, then the location can basically be pinpointed. Checked the surveillance footage along Song Jianjun's travel route. Just as I expected, he has been stopped on the streets several times in recent days and then pulled into alleys to talk. On a few occasions, it even looked like money was being exchanged. I racked my brains and finally figured out where Song Jiao could be hiding. Back in our hometown, Song Jiao's parents also left behind a self-built house, because they would return to pay respects during festivals. It hasn't been completely abandoned over the years, however, since it's located in a remote area with no nearby villages. Few people go there. That was exactly the place where my family suffered before our deaths in our previous lives. Because I was afraid, my memory of that part is hazy. Now everything has become clear. After I gave the address, my legs went weak. It has been so long, and Song Jiao hasn't called to blackmail me. How would she deal with Song Jianjun? Upon arriving at the location, traces of Song Jiao and others' lives were indeed discovered. When the police broke in, Song Jianjun had already been anesthetized, with his abdomen half cut open. How dare Song Jiao commit such an utterly atrocious act? When they came to arrest her, Song Jiao panicked and ran to the second floor, where she missed a step, fell, and passed out. The lower half of her body was instantly soaked in blood. Song Jiao was actually pregnant. When she woke up, her face pale, she even reached out and patted her belly. Her smile turned eerie. "Auntie, you came just in time. Did you know all along? Is that why you couldn't wait to abandon me in this lifetime? Why did you bring people with you? If I had sold that old fool, I could have taken the money and run off to live it up abroad. It's your family that wronged me. It's all your fault. The child is innocent, Auntie. if I go to prison, he'll only have your family as relatives, you must raise him well." Song Jiao, despite the pain causing the veins in her hands to bulge, still laughed wildly. "I don't know where he got the confidence to think I'm a soft-hearted person." "No, she relies on Song Jianjun." "Song Jiao, you've already sliced open your uncle's stomach, do you still expect him to continue being soft-hearted?" Song Jiao hesitated for a moment, then said confidently, "I'm carrying the only bloodline of his younger brother, I believe he'll know what choice to make." "All right, then we'll wait and see." After Song Jiao was taken away, I followed Song Jianjun's ambulance back to the provincial capital. The doctor said he's just still under the effects of the anesthesia, which is why he hasn't woken up yet. It's not a big issue. In the past half day, Song Yu had already learned what had happened, watching him scold her anxiously. "Dad had such a major incident, and you didn't even tell me." "Mom, aren't we a family?" I held his trembling hand, comforting him just like when he was a child. "It's okay, don't be afraid, Mom is here." After Song Jianjun woke up, he didn't say a word, not even asking Song Jiao a single question. The child was not saved. Song Jiao was young, smoking and drinking all day, and had taken a lot of medication. I haven't even had a prenatal checkup. It also suffered from external shocks. There's no way it could have been preserved. Song Jiao was determined to continue seeking revenge against us. She had no intention of living, yet she wanted us to live in fear for the rest of our days. Unfortunately, fate was not on her side. For kidnapping and intentionally harming others, Song Jiao was sentenced to life imprisonment. The rest of my life will be spent in atonement. Since being reborn, I can finally rest assured. After hearing the stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.